Hey guys, thank you so much for joining. We're going to begin in just a few minutes to allow participants time to log in. But in the meantime, please enjoy this video from the University of Louisville that has a similar microfarm initiative as William and Mary.
This is the Babylon microfarm, which we have privately branded as Louie's Greenhouse to make it more card friendly. So we worked with Canon Solutions America to help fund bringing a Babylon to Bill Grill. We are growing herbs, we are growing microgreens, we're going to start an Instagram poll to get the students more involved with what they can see growing in the farm.
So this is quite a very interesting process because you don't have to have a large tract of land to go farming. You save on space and you are able to plant organic grown food. And it's just next, you don't even need transportation to travel all the way. You just harvest and take it straight to the kitchen.
I've had two interns helping me with this project, and they're very passionate about sustainable growth and farming and all of the good things that go around with the new technology that we have available to us and making sure other students know what we're doing. So the students can see everything growing from planting to harvesting, which is fantastic. And whenever we harvest anything, we usually make a little sign that says like, basil came from Louie's Greenhouse on your caprese sandwich today. So they can see what came from the farm and what's going onto their plate.
All right, thank you guys so much for joining today. We're really excited to get into some questions with our special guest. Our special guest today, Isabella with William and Mary. Isabella, do you want to just do a brief introduction of yourself real quick before we dive in?
Certainly. Can you all hear me all right? All good?
You sound great.
Awesome. So my name is Isabella Chaflant. I am the Sustainability Manager with Aramark Dining Services at William and Mary. So I oversee their entire dining sustainability program, as well as everything back of house, front of house, and a large internship program that does initiatives across campus.
Love that. Okay, so now that we've started, let me first dig into an internship question since you just brought that up. So with your interns, can you speak to that internship program and what they're doing in regards to the microfarm?
Yeah, of course. So we have an internship program that has 18 interns within the program. It's a fairly large program compared to many other internships, but so they do multiple initiatives across campus. We have it divided up into committees. So we do a compost committee, an outreach committee, a food awareness committee, and a hydroponics committee. So I actually have an intern who's in charge of our hydroponics wall. She's our lead for that, and she basically creates shifts so that all of our interns can do and work on that. They do multiple things with the farm itself. So they're in charge of planting. They love the app that goes with the farm. They cannot stop talking about it. Like, it is their favorite thing ever to get those little notifications for transplanting and whatnot.
Mhm.
So they will do that. And they actually started up a new initiative with the farm where they will take what is grown, they'll put it into compostable packaging that we get through one of our compostable vendors. And then they will put it out in a cabinet for students to take with them on their way home. That way we get students involved in what's grown in the gardens, and it's not just them seeing it, say, in the salad bars that we have at our stations. They get to take it home and make something with it themselves.
I love that. Yeah, that's something we really strive for with our microfarms at Babylon is kind of extending the life of what it is that we offer, kind of taking it outside the farm itself. So I love that you shared that piece. And you also mentioned one of your composting vendors. So would you be able to go into detail about your on-campus composting program?
Yes, of course. So our composting program at one point was named the second largest composting program for a school of our size on the East Coast. So it's fairly comprehensive. We have back of house composting. Everything gets composted. All food waste, all compostable packaging, our napkins, all of our disposables are compostable. So everything gets composted back of house, and we have designated compost bins that we've gotten through our partnered composting company, Nope. It's a local company that's in Richmond and Virginia Beach. And we basically ship all of our compost off to them. They'll come and pick it up, and then they will compost it for us in their industrial composting facility. And that gives us the ability to compost things that are like plant-based plastics, those sort of compostable items that you couldn't necessarily compost at home, but you can compost on campus. But that's just back of house. We also have some front of house composting, and what we're most proud of is our campus location composting. So we have 14 locations across campus, usually in places where there's a lot of foot traffic, where we have placed specifically designated bins for students to use. So they're on a rigorous schedule. Like, we have pickup days 3 times a week. And so all of these bins need to be brought back to their pickup locations, so they can get picked up. So basically all of my interns are in charge of running those back and forth multiple times a week. And we used to do it on foot, but then we applied for a grant. It was a green fee grant with our office sustainability, with William Mary's office sustainability, to get an electric golf cart with a built-in hitch for hauling them.
Oh, perfect.
So yeah, we wanted to keep it green though. We're like, we gotta have an electric one. So now that one's specifically designated for our program, so they can haul it back and forth that way. And they've actually started another initiative for students that are maybe farther from campus. So we have like campus housing apartments that are technically part of William and Mary, but are off campus. So we've done an at-home pickup program, so students can sign up for it, and they can leave their compost out for us on a specific day. So our pickups are on Sunday, and they'll go with the golf cart, pick it up, bring it back, and put it in our compost bins here as well.
Oh, I love that. Okay. And I know that, and you know this as well, our seed pods, our pre-seeded seed pods are compostable, biodegradable. So you guys are doing composting those as well.
Oh yeah, that was like a big thing for us. We're like, are they compostable? And you're guys,
Yeah.
yes, they are.
Yes.
We were so excited for that.
I'm so happy. So with the composting in Babylon, the micro farm that you guys have, do you think, or have you found that different students have started to participate in different environmental initiatives on campus through those 2 parts?
Oh yeah, we have students that come up to us while we're having our hydroponics shifts, and they'll be like, what's going on? What is this? This is so cool. I remember when we first got the farms on campus. So the common form of social media for William Mary is Yik Yak. I don't personally use it. I don't know how it works, but
Yeah.
I heard from a lot of people, like some of my managers and supervisors are like, we're seeing posts about the Babylon microfarms on Yik Yak.
That's
So
funny.
that was pretty cool. And then so we'll have students who will come up to us and be like, what's going on? And they're like, yeah, come get involved. And we'll show them like what's going on, what we're planning, that they can go and take things with them home. And so, yeah, we actually did a round of hiring for interns, and a couple of them we actually got interest from and hired because they came up, they took the initiative. They're like, this is so cool. I want to be involved. And like, well, we're doing a round of hiring. They're like, awesome, I'm going to apply. So now they're also getting involved in other initiatives on campus as well, because they're now part of our program.
Oh, yeah, I know that we're so honored and excited to see that we can help catalyze those types of initiatives on campus and get people excited to learn about hydroponics and how their food grows and things like that. So, I'm so happy to hear that. And I actually do want to take a step back and ask you, what made you, William and Mary, interested in bringing a Babylon microfarm to your campus in the first place?
Gotcha. So originally we were under Sodexo. So Aramark came on recently, and Aramark is already partnered with Babylon. Aramark came on in around May. So it transitioned over from Sodexo. I was a part of the program before Aramark came on. And basically, we had a hydroponic system. It was not the most user friendly, though. And the company that we used the walls through was not very responsive. So we had a hard time getting parts and nutrients. We didn't have like all of the really cool seed pods and whatnot that were pre-seeded and everything. We
Mhm.
basically had to seed everything ourselves. We had to go and get and pick out like different seeds and whatnot, which ended up accruing like extra expenses as well.
Yeah,
But
of course.
yeah, it was a difficult system. It was cool because it was extremely hands-on, but at the same time, it didn't allow us for the flexibility to be able to run more initiatives through it because just tending to it was such a difficult task. So with Babylon, that everything is automated. So the nutrients, the pH solutions, with our old system, we had to put in pH and nutrients and measure it all and make sure to keep track of it so that our plants didn't fail. And
Yeah.
because we had such an unresponsive company, when we started losing our lights, when our lights started going out, we could not actually get more lights. We tried and we'd order them and they would not show up. And it was frustrating
Oh.
for us. We had 8 units and each unit had 2 walls. So it was a PVC pipe installation for hydroponic system. And we actually, that last unit, the 2 walls in that unit, towards the end of that company's tenure with us, we started to have to cannibalize those walls and use
Yeah.
those parts for the rest of them that were in better working condition.
Mhm.
So when Aramark came on, they were like, we're going to bring Babylon microfarms with us. And it was so awesome to see such a state of the art system. Like we have an app that'll tell us everything that's going on. It's got training tutorials. It's hooked up straight to the wall. Like
Mhm.
we get to see those pictures and we like taking those pictures out of the app and doing
Yeah.
time lapses of them and
Oh,
being able to
cool.
show that to the student body as well to get them involved in it because those are always really cool to see.
Yeah, absolutely.
So yeah, that is why Babylon came on with us and it has been awesome, honestly.
Yeah, I'm so happy to hear that. So you had mentioned too about, the students love the guided growing app that we have that comes with our services. What else would you say the students enjoy most about the farm itself?
I think that they enjoy that they get to see everything growing and we put it front and center. So it is in the front of our dining hall, whereas the old walls, they needed a lot more space as well. They were not the best built. They were difficult to manage. So we put them in like a kind of larger but darker corner away from the front doors and they didn't really get showcased. If anything, students were almost intimidated to walk up and look at them because it's in
Yeah.
this like shadowy corner.
Yeah.
um but yeah, like the image on the screen, like it is front and center. That is right in front of the doors as you walk into our dining hall. So it is right there. They get to see it. They get to be involved in it too, because I see some students that will come in, like I've seen them there multiple times, just to see what's growing that day. And then
Uh,
they'll come in like a couple weeks later and be like, oh, this is new. This is so cool. So it's really awesome. Like in these images, these are some of my interns that have been tending the walls. And then we have a student that picked up some of the lettuce that we were growing.
that's wonderful. Yeah, so with it being in the dining hall for you guys, have you or your team members or even the interns noticed any type of increased emphasis for healthy eating and clean eating on campus as well?
Oh yeah, with that initiative that we have running through the Babylon hydroponics program, we see a lot of like those containers full of greens or herbs, they don't stay there longer than a couple of hours. They are gone.
Yeah.
Like as soon as we put them out, we have students taking them and they'll tell us, they're like, this is so cool. Like to be able to have access to this and be able to take it with me and it's grown on campus.
Mhm.
And we run a couple of other initiatives through it. So we've partnered with an on-campus Fit Well series with the Wellness Center. And we had an initiative running through there where every week during a 5-week course, we had a different subject and hydroponics was one of them. And students could sign up for this Fit Well series and they could do these things. So we had like our dietitian come and chat with them and tell them about like sustainable eating. We did a hydroponics day, we did a campus gardens day, and it's fun because we can actually partner some of those different initiatives like hydroponics and the campus gardens days. So sometimes we'll take like the marigolds out of the system, or like the flowers, the edible flowers and whatnot, and we'll take them and we'll transplant them into our campus gardens as well, so that students can be involved in that initiative too.
Yes. Oh, yes. So you guys are doing a lot with your farm. I was gonna ask, how are you guys engaging the students with the micro farm outside of the composting and like you mentioned, you have your interns as well, and then the transplanting of the flowers into outside beds. Has there been any activity in particular where you feel like it's really brought the community together, both, William and Mary and the surrounding Williamsburg area because of the initiatives you guys are doing?
Yeah, like with a lot of what we're doing, like with our composting programs and our hydroponics program, like we're seeing so many students get engaged with hydroponics and therefore are more interested in sustainable eating and what goes into their food that way. So we see a lot of that from the student body. In regards to like the greater community, a lot of what we work on with the greater community is composting. So we actually also have a farmers market initiative as well, where we'll do compost education. We'll have a little table with a compost bin, and we'll at our local farmers market, and my interns will go and they'll talk to people and be like, hey, if you've got any food scraps from the farmers market, you can put them right into our compost bin and that sort of thing. But that's just one part of our farmers market initiative. We also use Grubhub to help sell like dining dollar tokens. So dining dollars is part of their meal plan. So we're trying to make sustainable eating more accessible to students, both with the hydroponics Babylon farms as well as with other initiatives that we have been starting.
Okay, well, you guys are doing way more than I realized because I was kind of wondering too how you think the microfarms that you guys have from us have increased awareness around William and Mary in terms of sustainability efforts on campus, but you've been able to really stretch that to Williamsburg in general and being at the farmers market. So I know our sustainability hopes and effort has been something we really cherish, and we want our partners and clients like you all to we want to see you guys take it a step further as well in terms of sustainability. So I know that we're really happy to see you guys doing so much on that front. So in terms of being on campus with sustainability, with the projects you have underway, are there campaigns or anything you're doing to raise awareness and making an impact with sustainability outside of the farmers market?
Yeah, so outside of campus generally, is that the
Sure.
question? Yeah. Okay. So we actually have through our outreach committee, we have another initiative. It partners with a local elementary school, where my interns will go and they'll teach an after school sustainability club to students. So originally we piloted it last year and the school loved it so much that they brought it back, and we're doing it year round now instead of like once every like semester or so. So they wanted to do it every week because originally the pilot was a 5-week program. So they want to do it every week. And within that, we've done presentations about hydroponics, about like aeroponics and aquaponics, composting, just sustainable eating practices. And because it's geared towards a younger audience, like it's different than the education we do on campus, because we'll do like little projects with them and those sorts of things. Or I think last time we actually brought some of like the things that we had grown in hydroponics to the
Mhm.
school and be like, this is what we have grown. And we've done little projects where they can take some of those plants home with them.
Oh, good. I love that.
It was really awesome. It really is a fantastic program because like when you get to the point where you're in college, you're kind of breaking old habits to learn about new sustainable ones. So by teaching elementary school students, we then get the opportunity to build those habits when they're younger. That way, when they get to college, they can be the people that are spearheading sustainable practices and initiatives.
Yeah, absolutely. And actually, that's a really good um, reminder for me to mention that, in addition to the gallery units that you guys have on your campus, we actually just launched a new type of product called the STEM Garden, specifically designed for K through 12 environments. Of course, anyone can can purchase one and use it, but we were kind of thinking about that environment in mind, particularly to get students and little ones involved and interested even more about, sustainability and where their food or how their food grows. And it's very interactive in the sense that they have to plant themselves and they have to do a lot more hands-on work. So our webinar next week actually focuses on the STEM garden unit itself, but we're happy to see you kind of pilot and champion that kind of to get their brains interested in sustainability and things like that. So you guys are having a huge impact on the Williamsburg community.
That's
Um,
really cool. That STEM one. That's awesome.
yeah, yeah, we're really excited about it. So in terms of the produce that you guys grow, I know you mentioned that students are really excited to see when you guys switch things up and they see something new growing in the farm. Do you guys ever ask the students what kinds of produce they want to see grown in the farm? Any type of survey or anything like that?
So originally we were asking the chefs what they wanted to see, that way they can add it to their stations. And then eventually, as we continued throughout the semester, it became my interns that were the ones who got to choose what was in the walls. And I think we'll get to the point where we'll make a survey so that students can get involved and they can vote on what they want to see in the wall. Because Aramark is so new, it is a new account under Aramark. We did have a transitional period where we had to get our feet under ourselves and get our bearings. So we're
Yeah.
still developing a lot of these initiatives, kind of starting slow. But yeah, my interns, they've seen the list. I've given them a list and it's on my wall if they ever need something else, and they'll come down and be like, I want this time. So I'll
Yeah.
put it in the little forms that you all sent us so that we can switch it up and we can do something new and different. The microgreens gets a lot of attention because
Yeah.
it's something that we could not do before on our previous
Mm-hmm.
walls. Like what we were doing on our walls was like basically just butter crunch lettuce, some cilantro, and some basil. And we have so many more options now. Like
Yeah.
we've done kale, like they just put out kale in the cabinet yesterday. They
Mhm.
put out bok choy, like
Yeah.
they get to do all of like the micro radishes and the micro kohlrabi, which was so cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, they really enjoy switching it up and seeing new things too, especially things that are so vibrant and colorful,
Mhm.
like the red lettuce and things like that. And they get to see the flowers, and it's a really pretty system too.
Yeah.
Like it's
Yeah.
gorgeous to just see it. It's all lit up. It's super state of the art. It's
Mhm.
phenomenal.
Yeah, I think that's part of the reason why it was named the gallery, because it really is a living work of art and it's so captivating, especially when it's full and you've got the mix of flowers and microgreens and different leafy greens and stuff like that. We're gonna have to send you a new poster for your office because we've added a few more flowers and things to the menu. Our lead horticulturalist at Babylon is brilliant and we're always trialing new things at our headquarters. And once they pass the test, we add them to the menu because you want variety, you want to switch things up and keep people engaged and try different flavors and things like that. So I'm happy to hear you guys are so interested in all the things that are growing. So I think to tie in one last question with you before we jump into the audience questions, I'm kind of curious to know, why was hydroponics specifically the right avenue for you and your team as opposed to other methods of growing?
We have a campus gardens, so we do have some other methods of growing, but the campus gardens is through the school. So it's a lot harder to get a hold of plots. It's a basically a lottery system, which can make it difficult for that. But hydroponics generally is an area of sustainability that we're all very interested in, because it might get to the point in the future where hydroponics is going to be the main source of agriculture. If
Mhm.
ever there's issues with like the environment or with aquifers and not being able to sustain the agriculture that we currently have. So it's something that we like to look into. That way we can understand these systems before they become so prevalent. Like it really does seem like hydroponics is the way of the future. and
Yeah.
it's going to become more and more prevalent. You always see new innovations in hydroponics. I mean, I know you all are probably always developing something new.
Yeah.
So we want to be involved in that before it gets too complicated for us to understand it, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, we really enjoy the progress that's been made. And actually, yesterday was our anniversary as a company. So we're so happy to see how far we've come over the past 8 years and all the wonderful feedback that we've gotten from partners like you guys with William and Mary and Aramark to help us build something that's really efficient, effective, sustainable, captivating, and also really high in nutrition and something that tastes good. And so we're really happy to see such successful use cases with you all, especially all the work you're doing, Isabella. I know we really appreciate it. So yeah. So I guess we'll turn it over and kind of look at some questions from the chat.
Hi, we have a question here, and it is what funds your internship program, and does Babylon have an on-campus internship program?
So
Okay.
the internship program itself is through Aramark, and that's how the interns have access to the farms. And all of those funds are supplied through Aramark. We have a budget for sustainability specifically, and we did have a budget when we first came on as a new contractor for William and Mary, which was it was fairly extensive to be able to bring in new innovations.
Awesome. And in terms of Babylon internships, we do have interns at our facility within the different groups that we have, the different business groups and things like that. We are always trying to work on expanding that. So we are brainstorming for more internships as well. But yeah, we do have interns.
It's asked, how do you manage the distribution of your harvests? How much do you use in the dining hall versus give away to students? What do you use in the dining hall? How do you use them?
So previously, before we started the giveaway, everything that we were using was going either into like our stations for cooking or into our salad bar. Like the microgreens were extremely popular in our salad bar. It was gone within the day. Like students were like, "What is this?" And our employees were like, these are microgreens that were grown on the walls that are just on the other side of that station." And they're like, "Wow, this is so cool." So, and honestly, they were always really tasty. They really are always tasty. But as our new initiative came on where we were giving away, majority of that goes to the giveaway unless the chefs have a special request, then we supply them with what they need. But for the most part, we want to make sure that it gets into the hands of students, especially because they take it immediately. We want to make sure that they can basically do what they want with it as well. It provides more interest and there's less restriction that way, say if they were to get it from one of our stations instead.
And lastly, before we go into the product demonstration, how much time is spent per week to maintain the farms, and how many plants can you grow at once, and how many varieties?
Let's see here. We have about 2 or 3 hydroponics shifts that are an hour each. So it takes anywhere from 2 hours to 3 hours, depending on how much we have growing in the walls. Like there have been times where we have filled it to the brim and it's taken maybe an hour and a half to do all of the replanting, if we're transplanting, or the harvesting, because sometimes we have to do both. Sometimes it's just harvesting, sometimes it's just transplanting. But it's usually the times that we do both that it takes the longest. But like I said, it's about 2 hours per week split up to different days. As for what we grow and how much we grow, so Alex, do you have the numbers on how many plants can get grown in the gallery at any one time?
Yeah, so if audience looks at the picture a little bit, you can see the different rows. The very bottom one where it looks like they're enclosed, that's the germination period. So you have the seed pods kind of close together, and once they germinate, you move them up to the top 4 rows. Each tray has about 15, I believe, divots inside of it, and there's 4 trays per row. So you're looking at 60 plants per row, and then you multiply that, it's 240. So you can really get a lot in one farm itself.
Yeah, and it's awesome because you can do so many varieties in one farm. We have two of the farms, so we can do an entire section of like completely different varieties in one, and then do another section where we can mix it up even more and do other varieties in the other one. Or we can make sure, or we can do both at the same time and just have more of the one crop. So
Yeah.
it is really cool to be able to mix and match that way.
Yeah, and we do have some partners who want to be self-sufficient with one particular crop variety in and of itself. So a lot of our restaurant partners and cruise lines, they'll have a farm that's just different types of basil, and they don't have to outsource that at all, or it's all microgreens, which you get a lot of output for, and they use that for things as well. And so yeah, it definitely grows a lot for the box that it is.
And that's all the main questions. I believe everything else will be answered in the product demonstration.
Okay. All right. Well, Isabella, thank you so much for joining us today. You're more than welcome to stay on or hop off. But I'm going to go into an overview of what we do at Babylon Microfarms and get a little bit more into the technical details. But thank you so much for sharing your experiences with us at William and Mary. And I know that we're really proud to partner with you all because you're doing such incredible things, both at your university and for the community. And we're so happy about that. So thank you so much for your time today.
No problem. Thank you for having me. This was awesome.
Of course. All right, you guys. So I'm going to share my screen. I know you're dying to see some more information about what we do at Babylon, and I am happy to go over that with you all. So Babylon, what we do is we're bringing people closer to their food supply, and we want to inspire engagement, as you saw from Isabella's commentary on what they do at William and Mary. And we want to make that as easy as possible with the platform that we have set up. And so basically, we've broken it down into a few really easy steps. With the microfarm itself is included a monthly subscription package, and in that package, you get your monthly shipments of seeds as well as any cleaning supplies and nutrients that may need to have replaced for you guys to use. As you can see in this picture here, the first circle, top left, those are the growing seed pods that we were talking about. And in those is also a QR code that you can scan that connects to the guided growing app that Isabella mentioned. And you can see on the left, it documents all the produce that you have and helps guide you through the transplanting process, harvesting, and things like that. You'll also get cleaning supplies that is food grade to help you clean and maintain the farm. And we also give recommendations for that timing within the app as well. And you can also stay on track with everything in the app too. And you also get access to a dedicated account manager that you can reach out to at any time for support. And with the app itself, you also have some videos for reference, tutorials on how to do certain things. When you do purchase a microfarm and it's installed, we do have a member of our team out there on site to help train and guide people through utilizing it. But we do have videos in the app for reference as well after that time period. So with the service itself, again, you get this beautiful microfarm, the gallery, the guided growing app, your monthly consumable subscription, access to more than 45 plant varieties. Like I mentioned with Isabella, we're always trialing new things here on site so that you don't have to experiment yourself. And we add them to the menu that's expansive and for you to switch things up as much as you want, or you can keep ordering your favorites month to month. We also offer marketing content and different activities. So in terms of the university space, we did create an activity called the Basil Bracket Challenge. And so with all the different basil varieties that we offer, we have a worksheet that goes along with it. So similar to basketball, we have the basil, and students can kind of guess which one will be the most favored after a trial of taste tests. So we offer engaging activities like that as well, in addition to sustainability reporting, which I'll get into a little bit later, and again, access to our customer support team. So we've tried to make it as easy to install and grow as possible. You definitely don't need a green thumb to grow at all. We like to say we do 90% of the work, and we just need 10% of your collaboration. With those site requirements, there's just a few things, including an outlet dedicated to the farm itself, a 1/4 inch flexible water line, so the same type of water line that you use for your fridge, as well as it being in an HVAC controlled environment. As you can see too with the dimensions, it's about 6.5 feet tall, it's 5 feet wide and 3 feet deep. So it's been designed to fit into elevators, your standard door frame as well, so that wherever it's going to be housed should be easy to get to. Our growing trays, we call them grow serve trays. They're also lightweight and commercially dishwasher safe to help cut down on the time that you have to spend yourself cleaning. And we do have a lot of food safety certifications and different certifications as well to give you peace of mind and comfort with the food that you're going to be consuming. And this is something our partners are really excited about, is the custom branding. So the farm in the middle of the screen is the one that William and Mary has on their campus. So they get really creative with what they want to do. Some people do their typical brand logo like you see with our Ford micro farm. Some people do company goals, a slogan, philosophy, or their sustainability metrics as well. So we're always happy to collaborate with our partners on what they want to showcase for their beautiful piece. And in addition to some of the activities that Isabella mentioned, we are proud to say that we are a partner with ASHE. And there's different ways, in addition to what she mentioned, that people utilize their farms. So we do have partners that use it for cooking classes and different experiences like that, at donor and fundraising events to showcase how far the university has come along and how they're putting their dollars towards sustainability and food engagement. We also have a design that's very green forward. We try to keep down our carbon footprint as much as possible. We have other university partners that utilize it for hydroponic research projects and different internship opportunities themselves, like Isabella mentioned, and lots of different things. So like I said, with our customer support team, and the not curriculum, but the engagement and marketing activities we've developed, we want to make sure you get as much use out of the farm as possible and trying to build a program for your students. And again, here's a picture with one of our university partners of some of our produce in their salad bar. So we're just really excited that Isabella's students at William and Mary have loved engaging with the farm, and they've been able to create so many different types of engagement programs with the farm itself. Like she said, the composting, it's obviously in their salad bar, and they've been able to reach out to the community too for education and engagement. So really happy that we're able to support those types of initiatives with what we offer. With sustainability, every 6 months, you'll get a sustainability report card, and it'll have on it the metrics that you've been able to achieve in using one of our micro farms. With the farm itself, we'll showcase, or the report card, excuse me, we do discuss the gallons of water saved, as well as pounds of nitrogen avoided into waterways, food waste that's been mitigated as well. And some of our corporate partners as well are really happy about that because they're able to utilize that as part of their ESG reporting. And a lot of universities are happy about that as well, so they can communicate with their stakeholders and the community at large what they've been able to do sustainably with Babylon. We also align with 9 out of the 17 goals, the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. And compared to traditional farming, each of our micro farms, as you can see, uses 96% less water, 95% less food waste. A lot of that is attributed to the food miles that basically don't exist when you're harvesting on site, less fertilizer. There's no soil used as it is hydroponic. We're just using water and nutrients. So that cuts down on a lot of inputs as well. 0 pesticides, no herbicides needed at all too. So in terms of sustainability, we're really proud to be able to offer all of these metrics with the way that we grow. And in terms of the produce, so here's a glimpse at some of the menu offerings that we do have. As you can see, it's broken down into lettuces and then other leafy greens. Isabella mentioned the bok choy and the kale. We have a lot of different herbs, a lot of the popular herbs especially, so cilantro, mint, parsley, dill, sage. We do have some corporate partners or restaurant partners too that utilize it for both cocktails and in addition to their restaurant menu at large. And we've got different herb mixes and microgreens as well. And with the produce, we also have really competitive nutritious standards. So the chart on the right showcases our nutrition as compared to USDA standards. And we offer this information as well to those who purchase the farm. And like I mentioned to you at the beginning, our produce is fully traceable. So with those QR codes, you can reference it in the app. And we collaborate really closely with our seed suppliers, all of our suppliers, so that we can stay on track and make sure that everyone is eating really safe and really high quality produce. And with that, I guess I'll kick it back to Chris, but that was my brief overview. If you're interested in learning more, you can scan the QR code on the screen and book a meeting with me. I'd be happy to go into more detail and brainstorm, ideate with you on how you're thinking about utilizing what we offer and cover any other questions that you might have.